What if the words you speak could change the way you see the world? In this journey, we'll uncover how language, culture, and cognition are intertwined, revealing surprising ways our words shape our perceptions and identities. Let's map out our journey. We'll explore how language and culture interact, dive into sociolinguistics and language variation, examine bilingualism and multilingualism, uncover the process of second language learning, and finally, investigate the global role of English. Language is more than just a tool for communication. It's a mirror of culture and a lens for seeing the world. In this topic, we'll discover how language and culture are deeply connected, influencing identity, worldview, and even the way we process reality. Let's begin with a powerful idea from linguist Edward Sapir. He argued that our sense of reality is shaped by the language habits of our community. This quote challenges us to consider, do we all live in the same world? Or does our language create a unique reality for each culture? Sapir's insight sets the stage for our exploration of language and culture. Here's how language acts as a cultural mirror, reflecting the values, history, and interactions of its speakers. Arbitrary symbols mean that words like tree have no inherent connection to the objects they represent. They're simply agreed-upon labels within a culture. Hybrid languages such as Haitian Creole and Louisiana Creole develop when different cultures interact, blending elements from multiple languages. Vocabulary reflects values, as seen in languages like World Piri, where unique words describe features important to daily life, such as food sources or shelter. Let's explore how language shapes our worldview, from the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis to the idea of universal grammar. The Sapir-Whorf hypothesis suggests that the language we speak influences how we perceive and think about the world, a concept known as linguistic relativity. Limits of determinism show that while language shapes perception, it doesn't completely control it, as demonstrated by studies on color recognition in cultures with limited color terms. Universal grammar, proposed by Noam Chomsky, argues that all humans are born with an innate ability to acquire language, suggesting deep commonalities across cultures. Now, let's consider how language is tied to identity and power, shaping both personal stories and entire societies. Language and identity are closely linked, as seen in Edmund LaForest's story, where language became a symbol of both personal and cultural struggle. Language and power interact when colonial or social forces influence which languages are spoken, often leading to the creation of creoles or the spread of dominant languages. Language is never static. It's shaped by who we are, where we are, and how we interact. In this topic, we'll see how sociolinguistics reveals the dynamic, varied, and sometimes contentious ways language is used in society. To understand the social life of language, we need to define sociolinguistics. Sociolinguistics is the study of how language is used in society, including its differences among cultures, age groups, genders, social class, etc. This field helps us see language as a living, changing force shaped by social realities. Let's break down how language varies and changes, from dialects and registers to the phenomenon of code switching. Dialects and prestige highlight that some language varieties are considered more, correct, or prestigious, while others are seen as less formal or standard. Language registers show that we change our language depending on the situation, shifting formality, tone, and vocabulary to fit the context. Code switching occurs when speakers mix languages within a conversation, a common practice in multilingual communities and online spaces. Now let's look at how language is used in real life, focusing on pragmatics, speech acts, and the analysis of everyday conversations. Speech acts are ways we use language to perform actions, such as apologizing or making requests, which can differ greatly across cultures. Discourse analysis involves examining real conversations, showing that actual language use is often messy, full of interruptions, and far from textbook examples. Language crossing happens when speakers switch styles or languages to express group identity or even resist authority, especially in diverse or online communities. Finally, let's see how language helps form group identities, from professional jargon to the complex identities shaped by today's globalized world. Jargon and argot are specialized or secret forms of language that help groups create a sense of identity, and exclude outsiders. Multifaceted identities arise as globalization and social media expose people to multiple languages and cultures, leading to layered and shifting language identities. What happens when you grow up with more than one language? In this topic, we'll explore the benefits, challenges, and realities of bilingualism and multilingualism in our interconnected world. Consider this. There are between 5,000 and 7,000 human languages spoken today. This means that speaking only one language is actually the exception, not the rule. Most of the world's population uses more than one language regularly, challenging the idea that monolingualism is normal. Let's look at the different ways people become bilingual or multilingual, from family life to societal structures. Bilingual households are common when parents speak different native languages, leading children to grow up fluent in both. Migration often results in families keeping their home language while also learning the language of their new country. Diglossia and ambilingualism describe situations where communities use different languages or dialects depending on the context, such as formal versus everyday speech. Now let's explore the cognitive and social advantages that come with speaking more than one language. Brain development benefits from bilingualism, as managing multiple languages strengthens cognitive flexibility and keeps the brain healthy. Bilinguals often find it easier to learn new languages, thanks to their experience juggling multiple linguistic systems. Cultural adaptability is a key advantage for multilinguals, who can move between different cultural and social environments with ease. Finally, let's consider the challenges of multilingualism, from maintaining heritage languages to the threat of language loss in a globalized world. Heritage language loss can occur when children don't receive enough support to maintain their home language, especially in reading and writing. Language endangerment is a growing issue, as globalization and the spread of dominant languages put smaller languages at risk of extinction. Learning a new language is a journey filled with challenges and rewards. In this topic, we'll uncover the main approaches to second language learning, the role of technology, and what makes language acquisition easier or harder. Many language learners experience the frustrating plateau, a period where progress seems to stall despite continued effort. This real-life problem can make learners question their abilities or methods. Understanding why this happens and how to overcome it is key to long-term language success. Let's break down the main approaches to language learning, from behaviorist drills to communicative and socio-cognitive methods. Behaviorist methods focus on drills, repetition, and memorization, as seen in traditional audiolingual approaches to language learning. The communicative approach emphasizes using language in real, meaningful situations, prioritizing authentic communication over rote memorization. The socio-cognitive perspective blends cognitive exercises with social interaction, recognizing that language is both a mental and social phenomenon. Now, let's examine the factors that influence how easily someone can learn a new language. Motivation and attitude are crucial. Learners driven by personal interest or necessity tend to achieve greater success. Age plays a role, with younger learners excelling in pronunciation and older learners often mastering grammar more easily. Language similarity matters. It's easier to learn a language related to your own, thanks to shared grammar and vocabulary. Finally, let's see how technology is transforming language learning, offering new opportunities and presenting some limitations. Online resources like language apps, courses, and tandem learning platforms connect learners with native speakers and peers worldwide. The Internet allows for authentic communication, giving learners opportunities to practice language in real contexts and exchange culture. However, some technology-based tools, like Rosetta Stone, may not provide enough cultural or conversational depth for true fluency. English has become a global lingua franca, but what does that mean for other languages and cultures? In this topic, we'll explore the spread of English, its role in society, and the debates around language dominance and diversity. As English spreads across the globe, we face a provocative question. Does this trend enrich our world by connecting people, or does it threaten the diversity of languages and cultures? The answer isn't simple, and it sparks debate among linguists, educators, and communities worldwide. Let's explore how English functions as a global language, adapting to new contexts and raising questions about power and identity. English serves as a lingua franca, enabling communication between people who don't share a native language. English adapts to local cultures, resulting in unique varieties and usages around the world. English is sometimes viewed as a tool of cultural imperialism, spreading not just language but also cultural values. Now let's consider the debates and consequences of English's global rise, from language endangerment to the changing landscape of the Internet. The dominance of English can endanger smaller languages, leading to concerns about language extinction and cultural loss. English proficiency offers educational and economic opportunities, but it can also marginalize local languages and traditions. The Internet is becoming more multilingual, with rapid growth in non-English content challenging the dominance of English online. Language is more than words. It's the living thread that connects cultures, shapes minds, and preserves our shared human story. By valuing linguistic diversity and embracing the connections language creates, we honor both our unique identities and our common humanity.